Mm.
I didn't hear you. I lost you.
I think if the rain not heavy, I think I can go out for running.
Mm, okay. Yeah. But I think it's not really that heavy. I think you can still go out, right?
Okay.
So today we planned after our class that we're going to walk to the market because the teachers here sleep in the morning camp. We cannot really sleep in the evening. So we usually sleep at 7 or 8 in the morning and we are awake the whole night. We're vampires. Okay, so our question for today is all about when questions. So, of course, when talks about the time. So, when you are asked what makes you happy and versus when do you feel happy, it's different. Okay? I hope this time you're going to make your answers different if you're gonna be asked with questions like that. I hope you will not answer about money. I hope you will not going to answer if your customers will give you or will pay for you. I hope you're going to answer something different. So, for example, the question that we have here is when do you feel happy? And the example answer is I feel happy whenever my family is healthy. It's the same with you. But I was especially happy when I had a baby. Oh. When I got a promotion, I feel happy too. But there is only one way to be happy permanently. That is, we should feel happy about who we are and remember that happiness comes from the little things we accomplish. When we say permanent, it does not change, okay? That is the meaning of the word permanent. So how about you, Cam? Do you feel happy about yourself? About how are you as a person? Do you feel happy?
Uh, I think totally. I think I'm really happy with everything I earn. But
Earn
sometimes
again?
uh, sometimes I felt not happy when I pretty delay everything, and I thus I think when the problem really serious, and that's in
Mm.
my problem, make me not happy.
Oh. So, for example, there will be a slight, just a very slight delay about your products. You will immediately feel sad about it. Did you hear my question, Cam?
Delay to relate about my product.
Yes.
Uh, uh, Everything to relate my business. I have to prioritize, and I try to do the first everything. Never
Mm.
neglect.
Okay, I understand. Your priority is your business. Oh my goodness. So let's have the first question here. When did you start learning English?
Uh, I suppose I learned English really early. It's about when I was in high school. I think so.
Oh, that's really early. So is it because in Vietnamese schools you need to learn that?
Yes, every school in Vietnam also the same program, and uh, in high school. But today, the children of Vietnam learn English uh, really well than ever. Maybe in the kindergarten.
Okay, but but I read an article, it's news about learning English in Vietnam, and the news was from VN Express. Are you familiar with that website? VN
Yeah.
Express, yes. So they published an article, and it's about high school students who are learning English now in Vietnam. That most of them got low on their marks or on their score when they took the English test. So that is one of the problems right now. And one of the reasons is because most high school students are just studying for the sake of getting a high mark or getting a high score. So there is a suggestion that why not offer English lesson if someone just like it or if they are just interested about it. What do you think about that? Should it be elective? When we say elective, the student has the freedom to choose if he or she wants to study that or not. Because in Vietnam, it's compulsory, right? It means you really need to study English.
Um, in my case, when I was in high school, I don't have any choice for how I can learn or the thing I want to learn in high school.
Mhm.
And I English that is the thing to. I never prioritize for English because I don't have any idea with English, and everything is just how I can overcome the exam of English. So that's why after many years later, I don't have any improve in my English skills, and every time so really terrible. Recently, I hear some officer government told about the um, the people the uh, the student choose another language like Russian uh, or French,
Chinese.
speak Chinese. But it's not real nowadays, and I think almost the time the student have to learn English as a second language. I think
Mm.
so.
Okay. So I think my next question come is not really that related to English, but I just wanted to ask you, when you were still studying, do you feel that you're very busy as a student and you need to do all the homeworks like the student today in Vietnam? They're very busy. For example, for teenagers ages 12 below, maybe they have 11 subjects, okay? And I heard that in Vietnam, homework is a must. The teachers really need to give homework to the students, and the students really need to answer all of those. Is it the same with your generation?
Yes, I think so because I don't know why, but every student in Vietnam also really suitable with the homework when they come back home, and so sometimes they feel strange if they don't have any homework at home, and that's a problem with our education system. Every student really not active, and they depend a lot on their teacher. I think so.
Mm. So, for example, here in our school, we give students homework, but they cannot actually do it because they have 11 subjects, but their moms are pushing them to do it. So, I guess moms are the ones who are really tough about education. So how about you? Would you do the same with your kids when they are going to start studying, for example, in elementary or primary, like to really push them to study really hard and to do all the homeworks?
Um, my kids, I feel don't have any uh, and I just support my kids in English, and I think my wife is the main who support for them.
Mm.
And nowadays, my kids don't have a lot of homework. They have to do in at home. So in the first time when my kids prepare for the elementary, I'm really scared when I heard about the label kids uh, to make a lot of homework,
Mm.
and they have to learn many other teacher. Uh, so I'm really scared when because and I just want find the school where they can play a lot with other friends. But but when my kids joined the elementary school, I feel everything so light for them, and they don't have a lot of homework they have to do.
Oh,
Feeling,
maybe elementary is different. Your kids are 6 years old, right? And the youngest is still 5.
yeah.
Oh, still very young. They should really play a lot and not do a lot of homework. Okay. So maybe it's different when it comes to different levels. So let's go to number 2. When do you feel like giving up on English?
Um, yeah, many times in my past, I felt really want to give up uh, in English because I feel I don't have enough of emotion for practicing, and especially when I feel I don't have any improve in my English.
Mm.
Yes, at that time I feel I really want to give up, and I just want to forget everything. But about 3 or 5 days later, I just feel guilty, and I think I have to come back for learning English. Um, Many times the same. I always have the same feeling, but nowadays I'm really lucky when I'm still learning English every day. Really lucky. Yes.
So you don't feel like you will give up any minute, anytime soon. There's one thing I learned about learning language. Language is really good when you don't learn it. It's best if you just acquire language. It means it's natural. Do you feel that English is a part of your life already come?
I think I still not feel English is a part of my life.
If you feel that, congratulations. Because you cannot turn back to English anymore. If you feel that English is a part of your life already, that's it. You have to like acquire it and not to really learn it in the most difficult way. Like I learned Korean just by watching movies. So it means I just listen every day to how they speak. So you acquire it, you absorb all the words, that you have listened to, but it's for how many years, okay? It's not only for 2 years or 3 years. Maybe it's already 8 years or more. So, yeah, I hope that you can do the same, and I hope that you can have a lot of time to watch because we don't have the environment, right? We're not living in an environment where we can just talk to anybody in English. Like in your house, you will all speak English. It's not like that. So I guess one way of doing that is to really always watch English movies and videos. And do not care if you really understand or not. By that way, you acquire the language and you don't learn it. Do you understand, Cam?
Yes.
Really? What's the difference between acquire and learn? All right, so let's go to number three. When does your family eat out?
In my family, my wife also like go out for eating something, and especially when I asked her about the new restaurant, she always like, and she really want to go there for checking some meals.
Mm.
Uh, so when my family eat out, it not fixed and depend on my feeling and depend on my wife feeling. And I don't have any plans. And every time, maybe just we like and want to go out, we will go out and don't care about another thing. So I don't have any plans for when we go out. Yes, depend.
Depends upon your emotion. But there's a lot of restaurants here, right? We can really
Yeah,
notice if you like just walk, there are many restaurants that you can choose to. So I guess you will not be bored, right? Because in other places maybe you can just say it's 5 or 10 restaurants, but here I think you can choose. And we talked with our co-teacher and they said, oh, maybe we will be surprised if there will be a Filipino restaurant because when we walk in Bangtang, there are different kinds of restaurants, Japanese, like Korean and Indian. So they said, wow, there's a lot of choices that you can have here in Haisong. So I guess, yeah, if you really want to eat out, you can just, if you, of course, if you have a lot of money. Okay, so let's go to number four. When do you read the newspaper? Yeah, maybe newspaper online.
um, I just read the newspaper on my smartphone, and almost the time I read the newspaper in the morning when I prepare time for breakfast,
Mm.
and uh, yes, and sometimes in the after the lunch when I have free time. Uh, but I think almost the time I using smartphone, I just like watching video on YouTube or Facebook. I think the real newspaper is than a real.
Mm. Okay. I hope you are going to have time to really read, not just watch YouTube, because reading can really have a different benefit. So right now we have a lot of, I think, Vietnamese website in English,
Mm,
right? So you can update yourself on that, like Vietnam Insider, VN Express, yeah, those website, their news. I always read a Vietnam Insider because it always pop up on my news feed on Facebook. So don't forget to read and not just watch. Okay, let's have number five. When did you fall in love for the first time? For the
Uh,
first time.
First time. Um,
Think.
uh, uh, mhm. The first, I think, I don't feel, uh, I'm, I don't feel happy, with the first, first love. Uh, I don't,
Really?
I think, I don't have, more benefits as I expect. Maybe the time I fall in love about, in the second year when I was student. I think so. Uh,
So come, maybe you're thinking about your first girlfriend. It's possible that your first girlfriend is not your first love. First love is
the,
different.
uh, the first girlfriend, I think, I can't remember exactly. Maybe
Very bad.
in high school.
Oh my goodness. I think your ex-girlfriend in high school will be very sad if she will know about this, that you forget about her. That's so sad. But do you believe, Gam? Oh, I think you told me about your first love before, right? You said that she invited you to her wedding. If am I correct?
Right. She wanted to, go with her, wedding dress.
Hmm. Yeah. Come, your voice is sometimes, I cannot hear your voice sometimes because you're not using a headphone. Right. So, do you believe that first love never dies?
Um, I I don't know about the meaning of, never die.
Never
But
die.
uh, most people, never forgot, the first love.
Mm.
Uh, it's not depend, the first love to make me impressed or not impressed. So I think every people also never forgot that, because that's the first thing really strange, they faced, in their life. So, yes, maybe, after got, married, they some many people also, uh, forgot about, focus, follow the first love, but, and many other people don't care. But anyway, they have to still remember in their mind. I think so.
There are still memories. So you mean that, okay, you can forget your first girlfriend, but never your first love. That's what you mean. Okay. So number six is a question about smoking and drinking. You're not smoking, right? How about drinking? When did you start drinking?
Mm, I can't remember, when, when I was drinking in my past. I don't remember. Yes,
Oh.
maybe.
So how old are you here in Vietnam? How old is legal age for drinking?
Mm. I'm not sure about the legal, but, I think, o- over 16 years old. But, don't have any person can control the age for the people can drink. And
16.
because my country really like to drink with alcohol or
Mm.
beer, so
Yeah.
many uh, children in elementary, the father also accept them can drink some beer or some alcohol. Really not that perspective.
So
And
it's
yes,
up to the father.
I also asked my son drink some beer with me, but
Oh
he also refused, and
my God,
he
your son is just 5 years old. Oh my goodness. 16 is very young, Kam. In countries like Japan and Taiwan, their legal age is I think 22 or 23. And I think in that age is very also adult that's old enough. In the Philippines it's 18. You can do everything about your life if you're 18.
I
But
think
16.
so the age the people can drink because very hard, but we can control that, and it depend on the family. If the parents don't want their kids avoid alcohol or beer, uh, it's so good. But sometimes we should to drink a little, no problem. I think so.
Yes, that's correct. Because everything that is too much is very dangerous, so you have to drink moderately because alcohol can also help your blood circulate. So it's good to drink. Here in Haizong, we just drank beer during the Independence Day. Happy Independence Day. Yeah, it's actually true, Kam. They said that alcohol can help us to circulate our blood. So it's not bad to drink alcohol regularly. Some people actually they cannot sleep if they will not drink alcohol. 1 bottle of alcohol per day.
Yeah.
Do you think you will be like that when you're already 40 or 50?
Um, I think I don't have any idea with the drink alcohol, but with my parents and some other men around me, they have to drink a little of alcohol before they want to sleep
Mm.
because alcohol to make me really easy sleepy and sometimes really useful for their health. They said to me.
Really? It's useful for the health. So do you believe that alcohol can easily make you fall asleep?
Mm, yes, in my past, when I drink a lot, and I feel really easy to sleepy.
Easy to fall asleep. No, maybe you will be sleepy for a short period of time, but after how many hours you will wake up and you cannot sleep because the alcohol will block your nerves. So good luck. You will stay awake. Okay. So right now, Cam, because you have a lot of time to talk to your neighbor. How many times do you drink in 1 week?
I really want to drink with my label about it, but uh, they really busy all the
Oh,
time, and really difficult uh, and gathering uh, with alcohol. Yeah, yes, really.
busier than you. Oh, wow. So your neighbors are very busy. Let's go to number 7. When do you feel stressed?
Uh, I feel stressed when I stay at home a lot.
Oh, but you're doing that since the lockdown, so you're always stressed that time. That's all. What else? What are other things that can make you feel stressed aside from staying home a lot?
I really want to avoid answer you. The main reason is money, but talk about money a lot, and I think it's not good. Uh,
Yeah.
it is the first, I don't want to stay at home a lot, and the second is I really want to a busy life than a easy life. So
Mhm.
in this time when everything so really terrible because virus, I can't do anymore, and that's why I feel really boring, and many times I really stressed. I think.
During this lockdown, when you feel stressed because you just stayed at home, how did you cope up with your with being stressed? Or was there something you did so that you can avoid the stress? Or you just okay, I'll just let it be. I will just feel the stress come to me like that.
Yes, sometimes I think okay maybe I have many free time when the virus around me, but I can learn something new for for I can improve myself. But uh, bec- I'm really like to go out, and I have a to do every time, so I can't sit in my room for learning something new with a long time. So that's why I feel I don't like to sit in my home, and I like go out than mm.
Come, I remembered you said that you will learn how to play a guitar. What happened? What happened to that plan?
Every time's not start because when I told with my wife, she told me I crazy when, and I think you just focus on shooting uh, so to focus English and forgot. But I really want to learn guitar. At least I want my teach for my daughter or my
Mm,
son
yes.
because the guitar art or something like that. That is the thing the mechanical can't do the same as the people as the human. I think so, and that's why I really want to learn guitar.
Yes. I guess it's very important because for you, you are a businessman. So maybe if coronavirus will be gone and you will be very busy, and especially for people like us, we work at home. Yeah, it's still like we're basically working at home and our space is just limited to our house. It's very important that you have a different hobby. Like knowing how to play a guitar, but maybe your wife tells you you're crazy because you are learning a lot of things. That's so funny. And also Cap, when people say that for you to learn how to play guitar, you must buy a guitar. That's not actually true. That's
Mm.
not true. Do not believe in that because maybe you have to buy, you will say, I have to buy a guitar first so that I can really learn. But no, it's not true. Do not do that if you're not really willing. Yeah, but that's good, As I said, there's a lot of things around the world like sciences, engineering, technology. So, like, poetry, music, these things can actually make our life easy and comfortable, or will be relaxed through these things. So it's not bad to also learn that. But maybe you need to give time because your wife already thinks you're crazy. Yeah, how can you do those things when you're learning a lot? Okay, next question. When do you feel lonely?
Every time when I go out with myself, uh, I also feel lonely. Uh,
When you go out alone, you feel lonely.
yes.
I hope you know what is the difference between being alone and being lonely. Two are very different, right? When you say alone, it talks about numbers. It means you are one person. But when you say lonely, it's an emotion deep within you. It's very possible that you are with many people, but still you feel lonely.
When I go out and go to another place, I always feel to miss about my family, and especially my wife and my kids. At that time, I feel really lonely. Yes,
Really?
and in some uh, my class business, I have to go to Hello Capital or Haiphong City at least uh, 2 or 3 days. So I also feel really lonely when I have a stay alone in a hostel
Mhm.
and have any friends around me. Yes.
Oh my goodness, just 3 days, and then when you go back at home, you will feel stressed. I cannot understand. Oh my god, life is very ironic, right? Do you have, can you still remember the word ironic?
Now I remember.
Ironic, completely opposite, because you said that when you stay at home, you feel stressed, and then when you go out for 3 days in Hanoi, you feel lonely. OMG, life is really complicated. All right. So maybe you are used to that you are always with your kids and your wife. So that's why when you go without them, you feel lonely.
Mm.
Okay. Let's have number nine. When would you like to take a round the world trip? But actually, this question is impossible. You cannot take a round the world trip. You think?
I never think about I can make a round trip around the world, a
Mm.
trip around. I just hope uh, I can go many place maybe another place on the world. And when I look back, I think I can. I just want to post my neck every place on the world. That is the best way.
Mm. And take selfies. Like maybe you can have a trip in Vietnam first, right, in your country, and then have a trip in East Asia. You will complete the 11 countries. But what is the country that you are most interested, aside from China?
England, French, France.
India.
That is the most play I really want to go.
Oh. I also want to go to India because India is very diverse. There's a lot of religion. Have you heard about the country Timor Leste? Timor.
Timor Leste,
Yeah.
Indonesia.
It's near Indonesia. Oh, because I asked someone and he told me you cannot go there. We're not allowed to. Really? Because that country is always mentioned whenever there is war
Mm.
in movies. Hmm.
I also know about Timor Leste is a new country. They parents from the Indonesia and
Mm.
they come Iceland and small. I don't think Timor Leste is the best thing, is the best place where we can travel.
Mm. Really? I am actually interested in those kind of places. Like places that you cannot go or there's yeah, diverse things like India, Nepal, Timor Leste, and Armenia. Have you heard about Armenia?
Armenia.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard about that, but I don't have any idea or image in my mind for imagining about Armenia. Yes.
That's the country I told you where all the kids should learn how to play chess.
Mm.
Yeah, every grade schooler needs to play chess because chess can teach them how to really focus on something and to think logically. Okay, but now we can just stay here, go to Hanoi, or come back here. So let's have number 10. When do you think of your parents?
Uh,
Don't cry.
but, I rarely to think about my parents.
Mm.
Maybe my also still strong, and in the short time later, I don't have any spend many time to take care of them. Yes, and sometimes when I feel uh, boring and I have a many free time. Maybe at that time I think of my parents. And yes, or sometimes uh, other call me. Uh, at that time I will remember about them.
Come, you have a lot of time during the pandemic, right? That's why you feel stressed because you just stayed at home. So did you call your parents during the pandemic? During the
Uh,
lockdown, I mean.
no, my wife call for them, and I rarely to call for them. I felt I'm not suitable with my father. Really different view, and
Oh,
like that my
I understand. So I guess you are really lucky about your wife because your wife's calling your parents, right?
mm,
So you think if you have different view, you cannot talk. You cannot say, "How are you?" "I'm fine, thank you," to your parents. Just ask them, "How are they?" Yeah, I think I haven't talked to you about that. I have a friend, and then she told me she thinks she is a bad friend because whenever her friend go out or far from her, she does not know how to message because she thinks there's nothing to talk about. And I told her just a simple question: "How are you these days?" Like that. It's just like telling them that you think about them and you still take care of them. Yeah. Maybe you can also do the same to your parents, Cam, even though you have different views in life. Because life is too short. Okay, let's have number 11. When do you think of your friends?
um I just have a small close friend in my countryside.
Mm.
So I also rarely to think about them, and I just think about them when I come back my countryside or when I have a many time to invite them come to my house for drink something. And most of the time, I think I don't have spend many time in my life for thinking about my friends.
Okay. Only your neighbor. You think, when are you going to drink beer again?
People is the lyrics with me. So and I also think about my neighbor when I stay at home and I finish every job a day. At that time, I really want to closer with them for sharing, drinking, yes,
Sharing.
sharing.
Oh, sharing about life. Yeah. You know what? I have a student in Ocean Edon. I was really amazed about that student. So when we had our class, he asked me if I have free time, and I said, yeah, maybe I will have some free time. And he said, let's talk. I asked him, what are we going to talk about? Let's talk about life, huh? And they're very young, like 10, 11. So these kids, yeah, they want really to communicate like that. So I guess I told you about a study in Harvard camp. They studied for 60 years. And some of the professor or teachers already died. And their study is who are the happiest people in the world. Okay? And they found out that the happiest people are those people who continue to communicate with their friends, with their family, and even with their neighbor or and friends also. So I guess even though maybe we're not really close with some of our friends, we can communicate with them and ask them how are they. Like, are you the kind of person, Cam, who starts a conversation? Are you a kind of person who starts a conversation?
Mm, uh, every time when I am uh, gathering with my neighbor, I also the main people to make every other people become more funny. Yeah. And I think
Oh.
when I can to lead a small group for funny.
You will have your own group, the neighbor group. Okay, question number 12 is all about getting married. So you already got married, so it's not this question is not for you. Okay? And number 13, when are you going to finish all your studies? Because here is school, but you're already done with that. But how about studying about business, about English? When do you think you're going to finish?
Uh, Many people always think about they can finish when they finish university
Mm.
and never come back. But in my case, I think in my life I have a many teacher I can learn. For example, I can learn from a real teacher like you, some other teacher like a Google, books and friends and my idol. Yes. So I think I will never stop learning in my life, and I have to learn uh, when I become more older. And yes, everything just finished when I die. I think so.
You learn from your idol, come. I'm very
Mm,
curious, who is your idol?
Uh, I think. in at the moment I don't have any idol in business, so I can hear some and read many lessons from the famous businessmen. Uh,
Mm.
the,
Like Jack Ma.
Jack Ma, Jack Ma, Jack Ma.
Jack Ma is your idol. Yeah. Maybe I also told you about the Chinese refugees who went to the Philippines and they started a very small business. So I think you have the same idea. Like they're not actually thinking of if they can really make their business big because their principle is that even if your business is small, but if you do it every day, you still have profits. It doesn't matter if maybe it will be really big. That's the kind of mindset the Chinese people have, right? We cannot deny that Chinese people are good in business. I think so. So, next, number 14, when do you see a doctor? I think you already answered that
No,
before.
I in 1 year I just with a doctor 2 times
Wow.
when I had to go to hospital for my health. And every time I don't like because I'm really scared uh, face with doctor. And really lucky for me, rarely I have to face with a doctor. I think so.
You're still scared. You're still scared when you're always doing it, like twice a year, right? My goodness. I told you before to know what your blood type.
And, I'm really scared when I face with the doctor when they take some blood in my
Mm.
body for checking my health, and I'm really scared feeling. And when I also to take whole my family go to hospital for checking,
Mm.
and most of the time when the doctor takes some small blood in my body, my wife really laugh because my emotion and my face really scared, and she told me I can't believe you really scared when a doctor to take some small blood. And the last time, maybe the last time is the first time I feel really comfortable when a doctor pretty nice and she take everything really comfortable, and I don't have any feeling scared the same before.
You were not
Yes,
afraid anymore. Because sometimes there also a problem come when they put the needle and they cannot find your veins, right? So sometimes
because
they really need to find where is it.
in my past when I was a child, I'm really scared when a doctor to I don't know how I can describe it, but maybe I affect childhood.
Oh, yes, that is right. So your one mission, you should not forget it. You need to know what is your blood type. You still don't know it, right?
I don't
Yeah.
know why I'm scared. Yes.
I have a question, Cam. Is there a place here in Haizong where we can donate blood?
Mm, where's place in Haizeng can take some blood?
Donate. It means
Uh,
you will give your blood. You're not a vampire.
my blood before, but easy to find the place for we can our blood, like Haizeng Hospital. About 4 or 5 hospital biggest in Haizeng also can do the same that.
Mm. You're familiar with Red Cross, right? Red Cross. There is no Red Cross in Vietnam. I cannot hear you. Because in the Philippines, we usually donate blood to Red Cross, maybe once every 2 months. And here we're planning to have a tattoo. And we plan that we want to donate blood first before getting a tattoo because it will take you 1 year. If you have a tattoo, you cannot donate blood. You have to wait for 1 year.
Um, Recently, I heard about our um, almost a hospital in my country really need blood for uh, uh, blood and because virus to make every people have to stay at home, so don't have any uh, people to go out for donate blood. So that's why we really lack the blood for many other patients. Mm.
Oh, I think you can ask some of the foreigners. Oh, yeah, there are four teachers who staying here in our office, and the two of us wants to donate blood because we are doing it in the Philippines. So that's why we're looking, but we cannot find Red Cross here. We'll just take our blood. All right. So let's have number 15, Cap. When do you think you will win the lottery?
I never think about I can win in lottery. I just play for anything and don't care about the route. Of course, I also to expert about I can win, but I think it's very difficult. I can win a lottery, and I can a person who very lucky in many other things without lottery. I think so.
Exempt. Exempt lottery. Yes. I think there's an exemption to every rule. Yeah. And you cannot win because you're not buying. How can you win when you don't buy? So I actually told my friends here, you can buy lottery tickets so that maybe you can win every day. Maybe if you buy every day, there's maybe 30% that you will win. But if you don't, of course, 0%. Okay, Cam, do you have any question? I think we only have 15 questions for when. It's very short.
Hmm. But I don't have any question.
All right, because you don't have any questions, I guess we're going to end our class for today. And I hope you're going to have a good day. Goodbye and see you never.
Yeah, Zuma, thank you.